Bahamas. It's called the Fyre Festival. It was supposed to be starting today. It did not go quite as planned, leaving many of the guests who flew there, paid thousands of dollars in some cases, stranded with no food, no water, no shelter, and no way home. So we've got someone who actually went to the concert, witnessed what happened firsthand, and she's joining us live now from Miami, where she's made it out from that Bahamas location. Hallie Wilson, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Amna.
So first question is just how are you?
Well, now that we're back in Miami, we're good. And we actually, it's been the longest 24 hours of our lives, actually. So we flew out of Miami yesterday, saw what happened, which we'll get into. And it was about a, 15-hour travel to get back on a 40-hour flight, which is not that far, but we're good. We're here. We have a hotel. We're good.
Good.
It's
you've
Friday.
Got a bed. You've got clean water. You've got all the important things. But let's figure out what happened here. Tell me about why you decided to attend in the first place. And we're hearing these like multiple $1,000 tickets. What did you pay for? What were you expecting?
Well, we had a group of 8 of us. We're celebrating a bachelorette party for a good friend. We paid $4,000 for 8 of us, so it was $500 each. We booked the tickets like a long time ago when they'd kind of first announced it. And then they had like a huge marketing budget, I guess, and they just kind of continued to promote it. And everything that they were advertising and saying was making it seem like extremely luxurious or luxe or very like exquisite and cultural and clean. And I don't know. I mean, you even like see the previews and like it's just boats and clean water and like sand and like beautiful people and
Hallie, we're actually seeing some of that promo video. We know they were all over social media promoting this. There were some huge Instagram models and celebrities who were involved in the campaign. Ja Rule, the rapper, was one of the organizers, right? Yeah. And they had big names lined up. They had like Blink-182 and Major Lazer. So all of that, did you ever doubt that what you were being promised wasn't going to be there?
Honestly, no. Like even when we got on our charter flight, they had like Fyre Festival on the side of the plane, which makes you wonder where they spent their money. But when we were on the plane going to Exuma, we heard that Blink-182, who was the headliner that night, had pulled out and they just weren't coming. So that kind of was like a little bit of a red flag. But we really didn't start to kind of think like, wait, what's happening until we got off the plane in the Bahamas, went through customs, and we all got on like school buses and little buses, and they drove us around for a while. And then we end up coming into this, like, it almost was like a quarry. It wasn't beachy at all. It was like, there were high fences, and there were just like little white dome tents, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them set up like in a neat little row. It was actually a pretty scary thing. And we were like, wait, that's our housing. And most of them were barren, like completely bare. Some of them had the mattresses set up. So they had in each of we were told we were getting a lodge, which it wasn't. It was like a big white dome. And there were 2 beds with sheets and a wooden bookcase in them. That's all. Some of them had towels, but mostly not. And when we got to check in, there was...
We're seeing, actually, I think this is video that you provided to us. We're seeing some of those tents now. It looks pretty bare bones.
It's terrifying.
What else did you find on the ground there? Other things that you were promised in terms of food and luxury amenities, was it there?
It was completely bare. I mean, I think there were 2 showers. Both were public in a trailer. There were no private bathrooms. They were all porta potties. The food, we didn't even get food because they were like sold out by the time we got over there. And our friends went and got, and what they had was, they came back with 2 pieces of white bread with a piece of cheese and like some wilted lettuce. And there was no water station. We had no water. There was pretty much only liquor. And they said they were going to have portable chargers for everybody. They didn't have any of those. They didn't have any locks to lock your valuables in lockers. And
So Hallie, what is going through your mind as you're kind of realizing this is not at all what you thought it would be?
Well, to be honest, in the beginning, everybody was just so happy to be there, and we were in such high spirits. Like, it was a really like fun group of people. So we were like, you know what, we can make the most of this. This is crazy. We're all in this together, whatever. Let's just have a good time. But then it got to the point during check-in when they just started telling people, just pick a tent, like you're on your own, every man for themselves. And people were just like running around with their luggage, like screaming. Like people would run into your tent and steal the pillows off your bed. Or no, we didn't have pillows. They'd steal the sheets. They'd steal your towels. And it just got really scary. And that's when the sun started to go down too. And half of like the people that were there didn't even have tents because most of them had nothing in them. Like they were all still on there. They had these big ass trucks that had mattresses all over the ground. Like it looked like a big IKEA furniture haul that wasn't properly set up. I think I heard a rumor that it was supposed to be on a different island in the Bahamas, but a day before like a storm happened or something and they moved it, and the infrastructure was not safe. It was not fun. It was all rocks. It was steep. It was pretty terrifying, actually.
So you were there. Let's remind everyone, this is all in the course of less than a day then.
This
and
is
then
last
the sun
night.
goes down. What happened overnight?
Yeah. So when the sun goes down, we were like, well, let's just, there was supposed to be like an opening ceremony with performers and stuff. And we quickly realized that like you cannot leave your little dome tent because people will come in and steal it because not everybody has a place to sleep. Not everybody has shelter. And so we would have to like take turns. So some of the girls went and got the food, which was the bread and the cheese. And then we stayed, and people just started looting. Like people would just run into people's tents and steal things. Like I had a friend get her phone stolen. I had my computer on me because I had to work earlier in the week. So I just had to carry it on me the whole time. But yeah, it was just like, it was not good. It was not good.
And Hallie, we've been seeing people all over social media. They took the hashtag Fyre Festival and turned it into dumpster fire and fire fraud. I do want to point out that the Fyre Festival has released a statement. I just want to read that real quickly so we have shared that. And they say the Fyre Festival set out to provide a once-in-a-lifetime musical experience on the island of the Exumas. Due to circumstances out of our control, the physical infrastructure was not in place on time. We were unable to fulfill on that vision safely and enjoyably for our guests. So they say they're continuing to work to make sure all the guests who are there can get home safely. They're working to place everyone back on complimentary charters. Are you getting a refund? Do you know about this yet?
I don't know, but I've heard probably not on that. Yeah, I don't think so.
So here's the question.
I mean,
I'm assuming, have you attended music festivals like this before or in this same spirit before?
Yeah, I was at Coachella the weekend before this. So.
Right. I mean, there are places where, they don't necessarily promise luxury, but not to expect it. And I'll ask you this because a lot of people see, if you pay $12,000 for a ticket or all the services and it turns out it's not to live up to your expectations, it's a little hard to feel empathetic for people sometimes and be like, well.
Right, yeah.
But at this point, do you feel like you were defrauded? Do you feel like you were promised something you didn't get, or is this just like, oh well, lesson learned?
No, absolutely. I feel like we were defrauded. I feel like we were falsely advertised to. Even like leading up to the festival, I think their team could have had a lot more communication with all the festival goers. Like we had literally no idea what our housing situation was looking like until we actually physically pulled in. Like I'm glad that I wore sneakers because everybody who had sandals on was just cutting their feet open on all the rocks. They were. I don't think they were staffed appropriately against the number of people. They most certainly were not ready when we got there.
And
it was.
What was it like when you were trying to leave? Because I guess you guys reach a point where you say, "This is not going to happen. This is not. We don't want to be here anymore." How did you get out?
Well, we were honestly scared, and we were like, "We just have to go." So I don't know how it happened, but one of our friends got us on a flight out that night. So they were all of a sudden we're just like. Tons of us on a school bus back to the airport, and then the airport in Exuma was closed, so the city workers had reopened it and came back to help get us on the plane. And there were 111 of us on this flight out, and we sat in the airport the first time for probably close to 2.5 hours until we actually got on the plane. And then something with like clearing everyone's names before we could go through customs. We sat on the plane for 6 hours. And then they said that they'd kept us on there too long, so we had to deplane and wait for a new crew. So then we deplaned. We went back into this room. It's a very small room in the airport. And at this point, we had no food and no water for probably close to 10 hours. And they understandably, like, so the gate to go out to the tarmac is like the only door there, and they didn't want anybody going outside, I guess for safety reasons, but they chained it shut. So we were essentially locked in that room. And it got so hot at one point. This is now like maybe 8 in the morning. We had been off the plane for 2 hours. It got so hot at one point that one of the guys we were with he fainted. He was unconscious for a little bit, I think. That was really scary.
And Hallie, during this whole time, was anyone communicating anything to you? Was any festival organizer saying, "Hey, we're working on this. We're sorry"?
No, not at all. We were we were mostly dealing with the Bahamian government, and or the Bahamian workers, and they were great. They were really nice to us. Swift Air was really great to us too. Yeah, like I think we only spoke to a Fyre Festival representative one time, and it was around 6:30 in the morning, and he said, "You have my word. I'm bringing you guys food. I'm bringing you guys water, and you'll be on a flight back to Miami by 8:30." And we didn't get out until, I don't know what time it is now. What time is it now? I'm still in my outfit from Fyre Festival. We just got back.
Are you really still?
Yes.
Okay, you're still very much recovering. It's now 1:45
Listen,
on the East Coast.
It's a good story. It's just a really, really, really expensive one, I guess. We'll see.
Well, listen, I want to point people to the Fyre Festival website. They've put out a complete statement. I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but I do, Hallie, want to point out to you that they say that the festival is being postponed until they can further assess if and when they're able to create the kind of experience they wanted to. So are you open to attending if they get it back together?
No, absolutely not. No, and I would advise anybody who's supposed to be going to weekend 2 to call their banks and dispute all the charges right now immediately. So, yeah. Because there's supposed to be another weekend next weekend, and I don't foresee that happening. I mean, all of the artists backed out too. Not a single artist. Like, they had like really big names, like Disclosure, like you said, Major Lazer, all that. By the time maybe like 4 hours after the festival had started, all of the artists had backed out. There were no more artists at all. And at that point, everyone was freaking out, trying to get back to the airport, but they couldn't. Half the flights that were even supposed to come out of Miami to Exuma yesterday, they deplaned them because I guess the island was at capacity or something. But like, we told our friends who were supposed to come, we're like, just consider it a blessing because we spent more time on the plane than we did on the island. We got to Fyre Fest, I think 3 hours later we were gone. So we just knew it was not worth it. It was scary. Not safe.
Hallie Wilson, I'm so sorry for what you went through.
Hey, it's good. It's like I said,
lesson learned, right?
Made a lot of new friends. Made a lot of new friends.
Made a lot of new friends.
Together in Miami. We're
all
going out together in Miami. So
I hope you get some rest. I hope you are well hydrated by now. You get something to eat. Thank you for sharing your story and your videos and your pictures with us. We appreciate it. Take care.
Of course. Yep. Thanks, Amna.
Thanks to you guys for watching as well. We've got a complete write-up of the entire festival story on the website, abcnews.com. So go there for the full backstory and that full statement I mentioned. Thanks for staying with us. I'll be back here again real soon. For now, I'm Amna Navaz.